Good evening. I would like to welcome you here tonight to the Elk River Area Chamber of Commerce along with the I-94 Chamber for tonight's candidate forum. Tonight we are going to be talking with 7 candidates for the Sherburne County Commission, and we'll be asking them a series of questions and just trying to get you, the viewing audience, all of the information that you need to know about these candidates to make a wise decision come voting day. Along with me is Debbie Rydberg, who is the Executive Director of the Elk River Chamber, and she is going to be the one with the time cards, okay? You're going to have a card that says go, you're going to have a card that says 30 seconds, and you're going to have a card that says stop. If we have to go to the stop now card, that one is, that's the bad one. But tonight we want to welcome the candidates that we have. We have Lisa Phoebe, Brian Lawrence, Wendy Kowalski, John Riebel, Tim Bolin, Barb Brandt, and Barb Olson. We want to thank you in advance for your taking the time to be here tonight and to answering the questions. We'll give you the questions, and then we hope that we're going to just start with a different person each time. If I skip over somebody and I don't let you answer the question, please feel free to let me know that. So we've got a number of questions, and Lisa, we are going to start this off with you. First of all, we're going to ask that you take 2 minutes to please tell us a little bit about yourself, including why you want to become a Sherburne County Commissioner and what experience, skills, or knowledge do you have that make you an ideal candidate for this position?
Okay, thanks, Mark. And good evening. I'm Lisa Phoebe, and I'm running for Sherburne County Commissioner for District Number 5. First, I'd like to thank Debbie Rydberg, the Elk River Chamber, the I-94 Chamber for hosting this tonight, and the Elk River City Council for the use of their chamber. Finally, I really want to give a shout out to Rachel Leonard. Commissioner Leonard has served with integrity and respect, and this seat will be big shoes to fill. A bit about my background and what I bring to the board. I graduated with a degree in social work. I worked in the area of mental health for a number of years. After that, I worked in ministry for the Archdiocese of St. Paul and Minneapolis. Currently, I work for the local Catholic Church, Christ Our Light, up in Zimmerman and Princeton. In between all that, I was involved in policy making. I had the privilege to be elected and to serve for the Princeton School Board. I served you and this area in the Minnesota State Senate, and I also worked for the U.S. Senate. It's through my experiences and the relationships I've built through my work and my service that greatly qualify me for a seat on the board. I believe that relationships are a foundational component of any committee, board, or elected body that one seeks to serve on. One person does not do this work in isolation. You need to function and work as a team to get the job done. On a personal note, my parents chose Sherburne County to retire in. They spent 30 years living up here, and they raised us with the backbone of our family being to serve others. And so I do this, I'm running in memory and honor of my parents. With confidence, the proudest thing I've done is raise my 3 sons, Angelo, Dominic, and Gino Fraboni, who now are young men who continue to amaze me with their willingness to give back and contribute to the health of the communities with which they reside. I look forward to our time together tonight to hear from all of the candidates and how we continue and hope to make Sherburne a great place to live, work, and play.
Thank you. Brian.
Good evening and welcome. I also want to thank the Elk River Chamber of Commerce for hosting the event tonight, as well as the I-94 Commerce for hosting this event as well. What a privilege to sit before you as a candidate for Sherburne County Commissioner. I've been a resident in Sherburne County for over 21 years. 21 years ago in September, my wife and I chose to get married and choose this place to reside and call home. What a fantastic place to be and live. When we decided to live here, we didn't know how many children we may or may not have. We've been blessed to have 4 children. My eldest, Montana, has just started college at the University of Morris, University of Minnesota in Morris. I have 2 in high school, Wyatt and Wade, a junior and a sophomore. And then I have a 4th grader, Wynn, who is currently playing his last season game of football this evening. And although it may be raining, they don't stop a football game for that at all. So I'm a graduate of the University of Minnesota. I have an agricultural business degree. After graduating from the University of Minnesota, I had decided to return to our family farm and continue farming with my parents and my family. We raise cattle, corn, alfalfa, as well as turf grass or Kentucky bluegrass, and I like to say as well children. It's been a great place for my parents to interact with my children as they've been growing up, to share their wisdom and knowledge with them and to be a part of their lives as well. My in-laws a few years ago decided to relocate from California and found a home very close to our farm and reside there as well. So I have both my parents as well as my in-laws being influential in my children's lives as they grow and as they develop. In part of being a family farm, it's given me a lot of different opportunities. There are busy times of the year. It's taught me to work hard. It's taught me how to work with family as well as others, to work with neighbors, and especially in Sherburne County. And I've found some great neighbors I've had a chance to work with. It's a great place to live. I've been involved in local government for over 21 years since we moved here. In those 21 years, I've been a resident. I've served on the Baldwin Township's as a supervisor of Baldwin Township, currently serving as chairman of the Planning and Zoning Committee of Sherburne County, the Board of Adjustment, which we hear variances, as well as the Waste Management Committee. I believe Sherburne County holds a lot of possibility and opportunity for those of us that choose to call it home. Thank you.
Okay. Wendy.
Hi, my name is Wendy Kowalski. I am the eligible write-in candidate for District 5. I'm 56 years old. I have a husband, Rodney Kowalski, and we've been married for 23 years. We moved to Zimmerman in 1996, and we knew we wanted to live here when we seen the old LP gas that said, "Jesus loves you," right on it. And we drove right by, and we knew right away when we saw Lake Fremont that we wanted to live here. And this has been a wonderful community. And I'm so glad that I had a chance to not only go to all the meetings in Zimmerman to see what was happening, but I ended up getting a chance to serve 8 years on the city council. As I seen that we were having a lot of challenges, there was one year where no one was getting up to do it, and I said I would never be a council person. But I prayed about it, and and the friends that I had said, "You should do it." So I did it, and I'm very glad I did. I've met a lot of really great people. This community is a wonderful place. Sherburne County is a wonderful place to live. And I'm a licensed barber by trade. I've been barbering for 37 years. I love what I do, and when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I thank you all for hosting this for us, and I'm a big proponent of our school board also. That is a big job and a big responsibility. Our children are one of the most important assets that we have, and that is our future, and every one of those little ones matter. I'm also a member of Faith Community Lutheran Church in Zimmerman. I serve on the church council currently. I'm the stewardship chair. I've been a watchdog in government for many, many years. I started out in high school watching what happens in government, and I've learned a lot. And between the time I ran last time for this position, I took administrative law on purpose so that I could understand the esoteric part of government, the part underneath that people don't realize, all the good that goes on. You don't always see the bad happen either, because we have to keep that integrity, but it all falls on the taxpayers at the end if we don't do it right. And when I was the city council person in Zimmerman, I decided to do the homework of all the court cases, that anytime we were facing something, that I would go and look at the cases that were already in existence, so we wouldn't make some of the same mistakes, to save the taxpayers' money. Sorry, did I go overweight? I did.
Yeah, once again, if we could just keep our eyes on Debbie and watch for the signs. John.
My name is John Riebel. I am the current District 3 County Commissioner. I've been a Becker resident since 1956. I grew up on a family farm, graduated from St. Cloud State University with a Bachelor of Science degree. And I went to the Minneapolis area as a buyer for a building materials wholesaler for 19 years. And I worked there until 1991 when a friend of mine who owned the hardware store in Becker came up to my wife and I and asked us if we wanted to buy the hardware store. So we jumped at the chance. I mean, it was a once in a million lifetime. But then after a while, we had to realize, you know, we got government. So I ran for township supervisor, was there for 9 years. I've been twice elected the board chair of the Sherburne County Commissioners. 2008, a tragedy struck. My wife was killed in a car accident. My daughter came board the hardware store to help me out because we couldn't make it with just by myself. I'm a 43 year veteran of Sherburne, or the Becker True Value American Legion. I've been elected over 10 times. I've been a member of the Friends of the Sherburne Wildlife Refuge, the Sherburne County History Center, a past Fair Board director, and last but not least, a Santa Claus, part-time. And why I'd like to be elected again is I love being a commissioner. There's so much you can help people with. Thank you.
Thank you. Tim?
Hi, I'd like to again thank the chamber. You guys have got plenty of thanks tonight, but I really appreciate you guys putting this on. My name's Tim Dolan. I originally grew up on the edge of the Iron Range in northern Minnesota. Came to Sherburne County by way of St. Cloud State University, where I went to college. I bought my first home after college in Becker in 2003. Lived there for a while, and in 2011 I moved to northern Elk River. I live with the love of my life, Annie, and 2 kids, Brooklyn and Gavin, and our yellow lab Gravy. Both my kids go to the Elk River Public School District. Professionally, I'm the chief strategist at Declan Group, which is an economic development consulting firm here in Elk River. We work locally and across the country. My spare time, I enjoy giving back to the community. I'm very involved in the community. I volunteer with various nonprofits, coach youth baseball on the youth football board, on the YMCA board. And the reason I'm running is, honestly, the reason I hope all of these people are running, and that's because I care about the community. I care about the people in it. I care about the businesses in it. And I want to restore the sense of ownership in local government. I want people to realize what's going on. I want everybody to take part in it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Barb?
Well, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for all of the work that you've done to put this together tonight. I really appreciate this and appreciate the opportunity to have a chance to share with you some of my thoughts about our wonderful Sherburne County. I think it's a great place to live. I've lived in Sherburne County for over 45 years, and my husband and I live on a family farm that's been in his family for over 100 years. We really feel like Sherburne County is a great place to be. We have roots here, and we plan to live here for the rest of our lives. One of the things that I've always wanted to do was to give back to the community. I was 4-H leader for 20 years. I've been involved with various nonprofit organizations, and I've really felt that this is a great way to show how good and to build and increase the community for, if everybody gives to the community, it will be a better place. And I really think we have a lot of that happening in Sherburne County. My background is I'm a nurse, and I worked in public health, not in Sherburne County, but in surrounding counties. Then I worked in home care and hospice for over 30 years, and I currently am the quality compliance manager for Allina Health Hospice. One of the things that I did when I was 50 years old is I decided to go back to school and become an attorney. And I still consider myself primarily a nurse, but I have a law degree, and that's what I use when I look at compliance. And I was able to work for a nonprofit for several years and go to the legislature and help pass legislation that would support home care and hospice legislation. So I feel like that's a good background for me also. So I'm here to answer questions. I'm feel that this is going to be big shoes if I'm elected to fill Bruce Anderson's shoes. He's done a marvelous job. I think that Sherburne County has many very good programs, and we just want to continue to build and support to serve our wonderful county.
Okay. And Barb?
Good evening, I'm Barb Olson, and I'm running for District 1. I too would like to thank the people that have spent the time to put this event together, and also thank the folks, you folks that have come out this evening to spend time with us, and the people out there in TV world. I grew up in St. Cloud, right where Sherburne and Benton and Stearns County come together. I attended a Christian grade school, Tech High, and I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science and Business Management from St. Cloud State University. I was blessed with a wonderfully supportive family who taught us that faith, family, friends, and fairness were important qualities to live by. I have always remembered the old cliches that I heard over and over again: waste not, want not. You take the word can't out of your vocabulary, and remember not to judge people unless you've walked a mile in their shoes. I am married, have one son, Andrew, an ER graduate who was on the 2001 hockey team that won the state tournament, a daughter-in-law, Molly, who is a nurse, and a granddaughter, Zoe, who just turned 3 yesterday. I have pictures. I have owned my own company for over 20 years, have been a substitute teacher, and have been an employee of Sherburne County for the past 5.5 years. I have had the opportunity to observe how the county is run firsthand, and I know many of the employees. We lived in Coon Rapids before moving to Elk River, and I served on the Planning and Zoning Commission there for 12 years. I have always been the kind of person who thinks outside the box and looks for alternative ways to do things, not just settling for the, well, you know, we always do it that way. I was encouraged to run by some Elk River citizens as well as fellow employees at Sherburne County. Quite frankly, I was disappointed that the citizens of Elk River would not have a choice in this election, and decided it was time to give back to a community that has been supportive to my family. Thank you.
All right. Next question is, the county boasts a long history of innovation in energy and green technology companies. Currently, there are 2 data centers in Elk River, and a wide variety of economic development efforts are ongoing throughout the community or throughout the county. What kind of development do you see as appropriate or inappropriate for the county in 2016 and beyond? And Brian, we're going to start this one off with you.
When you talk about economic development, I do commend the county commissioners, because I think they've done an awful lot as far as promoting economic development and going out. They started by, one, purchasing some property here in Elk River, building the county seat where the offices are, and then starting out to sell off some lots there. They have currently just 1 lot left, where you mentioned the data processes buildings are. That's where they're located. Some foresight, some innovation as well. When we look at our county, we've got some great benefits. We've got 2 major corridors that come through us, Highway 10, Highway 169. We've got, we're innovative with technology. We're aggressively trying to bring in new technologies. I sit on the Planning and Zoning as chairman, and we regularly have cell towers, which help residents communicate, as well as business community, come in and request locations to help provide better services to our residents and for our businesses. The county just recently has gone forward to trying to bring in broadband to help promote businesses to come here. As we see an increase in housing, we see increase in commercial property. There's no question we're going to have businesses that want to locate here. We have a great workforce. We have locations for it. As a county, we've got to kind of guard those. We've got to look out for them. We've got to, and our planning and zoning has done a fantastic job of being forward-thinking as far as looking at our corridors and saying, where is commercial property going to best suit the area and the residents? We've got cities to our north, cities to our south that people transfer to back and forth. As we look at those areas, we need to watch the regulation that is put forth and not over-regulate for companies coming in. And I see companies that are changing communities all the time. Primarily reasons, property taxes, regulation. Sherburne County is a great place to come and have a business because we're conscientious to not over-regulate and watch those property taxes. We also have a lot of incentives that are available to us as potential county commissioners to utilize to help encourage those businesses to come into our area. So limiting regulation. As we see our housing increase and our commercial increase, it's just going to benefit the business entity, the business side of Sherburne County.
Wendy?
Well, what Brian said is true, that we do want to make sure we have everything necessary for businesses when they're ready to come here. And I'm all for trying to get businesses to come here, but not based on the fact that we would give them money. I don't think it's ever fair that money is provided if it is provided at any time. In economic development, sometimes it is. I think we should look for people that already have their own seed money and that know what they want, and people that are already talented, usually in a business, are looking for places now that are not regulated, in addition to being state regulated, to also have local regulation that is in the nature of a special regulation. Usually special regulation is the kind of regulation that is only unique to certain communities because of their layout of the land or something else. But I think all businesses should be treated equally amongst the whole state, and that our community is so wonderful all by itself if we just let them in with only doing that. And I'm not sure of all the regulation that we have right now, but those kinds of regulations where there's a variance or different people are getting treated differently, that is the kind of thing that I think does put people off. Because if you're going to invest money in a business, you need to know that it's not going to change the next year or a year after by a local change in an ordinance. That is the kind of things I look for. Thank you.
Okay, John?
Same question. Well, I will say, and going with what Brian said, I've been on our county planning and zoning board for over 40 years, and over the years how they've developed that, and now we used to have a thing called conditional use permit. Now we've got an IUP, which helps bring in more potential small businesses so they can get started and then go into the industrial park. And I think our industrial park, well, and when you brought up broadband, we are really going whole out on that because our county administrator assistant, Dan Weber, has worked with a committee. And when I first got on the board, we used to have an EDA department, and we didn't. Now we got it back again because we want to look at all these cities rather than going out and fighting for each other for businesses. We go together, and then we get more of a bang for our dollar. And I think with the broadband, right now we're sending a letter out so that Palmer Wireless can apply for 3 grants for broadband going border to border. And this is a lot of money we're going after. So hopefully we get it, but I think we have to look at, the different resources that the county can offer, and that is like tax abatement, tax increment financing, or revolving loan problems, whatever it takes. And we have to put stipulations on there so we don't get caught. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Tim?
Of course, I get the broken microphone right off the bat. Improvise. No, economic development. It's what I do for a living, so I'll try and sum it up in 2 minutes here. Everybody tends to talk about attracting businesses, and they tend to talk about things like tax abatement and tax increment financing and revolving loan funds and things that incentivize businesses to come from outside the community. I think that system's a little broken. I think that we have had to do it in recent time to compete with outside counties, outside cities. I think what we really need to concentrate on is stopping businesses from leaving our county. We have amazing businesses in this county. We have amazing businesses that want to grow, that need certain things, be it workforce or a little bit of help finding a bigger building or gap financing or what have you. The money part of economic development is really small. You ask any big business or any moderately sized business the reason they ended up going somewhere versus somewhere else, and it's because the city or the county made it easy. It's because they don't throw up red tape, they don't find reasons to say no, they find reasons to say yes. I was at a recent leadership conference with some outside counties, and a line really stuck with me that one of the presenters said. And it was really simple, and it was, if it's legal and if it's ethical, get out of their way. Businesses will take care of themselves. Once in a while, you'll need to throw out some incentives if it's something you really want to compete for. But ultimately, it's up to us to facilitate business, not buy it. Thank you.
Barb Brandt.
I think that businesses are looking for communities that will support them in many ways. And I know that historically, I think Elk River and Sherburne County have been just a little bit outside of the metro ring. And businesses haven't always looked to us where we, and what we've done, I think, in my part of the county is to try to show that we're business friendly, that we welcome new businesses in, that we have programs and that will support them, that we will work with them to find places to move their business if they're somewhere else and they want to move into this area, that will work with them and be supportive of that process. I do think that having employees available also who are trained is very important, and that is partly rests with our schools and our junior colleges and our technical schools in the area. And we have several of those in St. Cloud and around. And I think that's another thing we have to offer, that we have people that they can employ who are trained to do the work that they need to have done. The other thing is that I think, like, sometimes you have to have places that are shovel-ready for them to build their business, and so Nature's Edge Business Park was one of the things that we've worked on. Here's to offer that to businesses interested in coming to Sherburne County, and that has seemed to work very well. The other thing, I think, is access to roads and transportation.